The video you're about to watch has been designed to take you deeper, higher, and wider into Yahweh. Enjoy, and please subscribe. Thank you. Father, we just want to glorify and magnify your majestic name as the ecclesia, Father, as sons and daughters, men and women, full of your spirit, full of your glory, full of revelation, knowledge, insight, full of you pouring mysteries and secrets into us daily. As spirit beings, we are engaging in the heavens, Father, which we were made to do from the very beginning. We haven't because of lack of information given. But now that we have opened ourselves up, Father God, as you're really pouring into sons and daughters more than what you've ever poured in, Father. Matter of fact, I believe that in this time, this season, the revelations you're giving has never touched the face of the earth. It's never been given. There's new deep dimensions of who you are that we've been tapping into. There's secrets and mysteries being revealed to us that's never been shown to the face of the earth. Father, you said in your word that we will do greater things. And Father, we're beginning to understand what it means to do greater things. We're beginning to understand what it means to stand before you and understand what you've given to us, who you've made us to be, Father. And so we ask, my King, that you open up our hearts and let us begin to understand who we are in every aspect of life, Father. Thank you, my King. We glorify and magnify you, Father. We step into all of what you have for us. And tonight we ask that you will open our hearts. Tonight we ask that you will show and reflect the fullness of who you are in us. And I pray, Lord, you will teach us everything we need to know for right now. For right now, we need to understand who we are. We need to have revelation of what you're giving us, Father. We need to walk in all that is available. And I pray, Father, as we breathe into the atmosphere, the fullness of your glory, we breathe into the atmosphere, the fullness of your power and your glory, that you will begin to open up our hearts to receive all these things according to what you've given each of us. In the name of Yeshua, Father, we love you, we praise you, in Jesus' name. What I wanted to touch base on tonight is moving from the slave mentality into sonship. Understanding who you are, and also understanding that we come out of a generation that was slaves for 400 years. Now, it might not be part of who we are right now, but it will always, in a way, fashion, or form, be who we acting out on as according to what we were born into, if that makes any sense. Yes. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and break your perception regarding who the Father wants you to be, so that we can begin to understand how serious He is when it comes to us becoming sons and daughters in His kingdom. Let me just see. Sorry, guys. This is driving me nuts.
We'll wait for it. Good.
Remind yourself that we are on a journey from slavery, rejected, and separated from God. That's why you have to give your life to Yeshua. There has to be a return to the original, right? We understand all of that. Into our full inheritance as children of God, understanding that although it says children of God, and that's kind of what I read now, we need to understand everyone's children of God because He was the creator, but we are sons and daughters. And really the Bible talks about sons, that the earth is waiting for the sons of God to be revealed. Yeah. It's not talking about everybody that's a Christian. It's talking about the mature ones. So there has to be a shift in the way we think. There has to be a shift in the way we present ourselves to the earth out of the kingdom of heaven. As a mature son, you need to grow out of a mentality of a slave. Now, for many years, I remember as a young Christian, people would say, oh, I'm a servant of the Most High God. I'm a bond servant of the Most High God. And I've gone through all of that as we grow in Christ. But I've realized that I might feel like a bondservant, I might feel like a servant, but the Father's heartbeat is not for me to serve him.
Come on.
So we might not quite understand that, but the Father's heartbeat for me is to understand my sonship.
Yes.
Is to understand the covenant that I have with him as a son in his house. Who I am as one that he loves and overshadows. Who I am as one that he will do everything in his power to form and to re-erect and as the person that he created him to be, or me to be. Even as children, as we start out as babies or infants, we are coming into a maturity. It's a process that takes time and it's progressive. Same with everything we do. We need to remind ourselves that there's a time and a season in our lives that we'll have to go through certain things, and I believe those times are to align. Because once we're aligned, I get to begin to understand things that I didn't previously understand. Like I always said to to the students, my 12-year-old has an understanding of algebra, maybe even greater than what I have. But my 3-year-old, my 6-year-old, even my 11-year-old, because they haven't done it yet, have no understanding of algebra whatsoever in any way, fashion, or form. They know math, but they don't know algebra. So if it's both still math, but one is of a higher degree than the other. And I really believe the Father is raising up a people that will really know and understand who we are as we grow and mature. So we've been eating of the tree of good and evil, right? And that's where you say, oh, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. And the Father has always wanted to shift us and our mentality away from that, because that is the attitude of the slave.
Come on.
Because the slave lived according to what the judge or the boss told him to do. I mean, he couldn't burp, fart, or cough in any way, fashion, or form outside of the will of the one that leads him. If he does, he dies. His life has no value. He has nothing to his own. Nothing is his. Everything is owned by the ones who own them. They have no culture. That's why Yahweh eventually said to them, stop doing what they do. Stop sacrificing your children. Stop chopping your beard like they do. Stop tattooing your bodies like they do. Stop doing what they do. You are not of them. You're not like them. They are not your example. But for 400 years, that's all they knew. So for them to move out of that perception, that understanding, that whole generation had to die out. And we understand, we look at the life of those walking with Moses, the entire generation had to die out because they just couldn't perceive the mercies and the grace of the Father. They couldn't perceive what the Father wants to do, how he wants to take them in, and that they are free. Now we have a whole church that doesn't understand freedom.
Come on.
You know, God says to the pure, all things are pure, and there's some things in us that needs to change. Because then everything can't be sin, everything can't be wrong, everything can't be right, and this is wrong, and this is good, and this is bad. We begin to understand that we have the authority to align all things into place.
Yes.
And Satan has perverted some things, and we have the ability to take what he's perverted and align it to what it's meant to be. That includes everything. That's why we have the ability to eliminate sin in the earth. And we understand sin is missing the mark. So once the sons of God arises, and we begin to align things in the earth, that's what creation has been waiting for. So that everything is put back into place.
Yes.
So we're really growing, we're really stepping into that place. We begin to understand that the Father's desire for us is to walk in complete healing. In every aspect and area of your life. Now, I'm not talking physically. To be healed from a mentality of a slave, where we literally want God to command us to do things. Because I've said it before, but we're beginning to learn now that the 10 Commandments was never 10 Commandments. It was a marriage ketubah. And the only reason that the Israelites saw it as a commandment and they didn't see what the Father was really doing was because of their mindset. He's in love with them. He wants to spend time with them. He wants to give them everything. And so he gives them a set of contract statements that he wants in the covenant with them, and they freak out about it. So much so they want nothing to do with him. They don't even answer him in this covenant agreement. They don't say anything. They don't want anything to do with him. They actually say, Moses, you go talk to him. We don't want to do anything with him. We are freaked out by him. Because they didn't understand what he was trying to do. Okay, we need to see the Father wants us to get to the place in our walk with him where we look at him and realize that he only wants to benefit us. He only wants to bless us. He's not the judge that looks over everything we do and say, that's wrong, that's right, good and faithful servant, bad child, how dare you do that. The Father looks at us through the eyes of Yeshua. And as we begin to grow and we begin to understand the covenant that he has given us in Christ, everything kind of changes. And his desire for us is to shift into that place. Now, when you have a slave mentality or an orphan mentality, so what I want to do is I want to have something I want to look at. So as a son of God, as a slave, this is the two different ways that we're looking at things. As a slave, you say that you see God as your master. How many understand that? Now it sounds like a good thing. God, you're my master. This is the image of God. But a son will see him as a loving father. That is a different dimension of a relationship than a master. Because a master is one that has got authority over you, that puts you in submission, and you have to do everything he says. The Father never wanted that. That's why he gave us our own choice. Right? The orphan is independent. There's no dependency on God. He really wants to do everything himself. He wants to impress the master. But the son is interdependent. He acknowledges and understands that he has needs. You know, I look at my children, and although they want to be as mature as they possibly can for the age they're at, they know that they have certain needs, that I am the only one that can meet those needs. As one that understands only slavery, they will do everything. I don't want to ask the master anything, because I don't want to bother him. But my sons and my daughters and my house, they know they can ask me for anything, because of the relationship we have, because I love them so much. And my father's house is the same thing. You know, the very first time I entered into the courts, or I went into the throne room, I was scared because I had a perception of God as my master, as my God. And I went in there and I was all afraid, and it was my protocol, and my protocol was out of fear. The second time I went in, it was out of his protocol. And that's when he jumped up off the throne, Yahweh, God, the master, and ran to me and picked me up. And that's the kind of place the Father wants us to be in. He wants us to understand what he has for us, that he is the daddy. And it's not a master and a servant. It's a son and a father. Live by the love of the law. This is the theology. Live by the law of love. Now we understand that the love of law is everything you do. So I am a managing director of a company, so I'm doing well. You're a cleaner in a company, and so you're not doing too well. It's just our mentality. Because what you do represents what you are. That's the slave mentality. But in the kingdom, it's a whole different place. It's the law of love. I live according to who I am, according to who he said I am, and that establishes my value, not what I do. And so he wants a people that begin to understand who we are. Because if we begin to understand he is our Father, that we are dependent on him, that we live out of the law of love, when we begin to understand what the law of love is, he is love. And we begin to have revelation of this fact. And I always say that it freaks people out, but he doesn't love you. And we don't understand that, because I look at God and, well, he loves me. And so for me to have this revelation that he loves me, I need to do good things. And if I do good things, then he will love me more. If I do bad things, then maybe he loves me less. Because our understanding of love is according to what our parents will teach us. Now, they didn't do it on purpose, but if you did really good, they will praise you, and it will feel like they love you more. If you do really bad, then they won't praise you. They will either send you to your room or give you a smack bottom, and that will feel like they love you less. So according to what you do, you feel more love. And so we need to understand that the Father doesn't love like that. He is love. So he cannot change the amount of love he has for you. And there's nothing you can do that makes him love you less. There's nothing you can do that makes him love you more. He loves you because that's who he is. That's what he projects into all of who you are. And a people that understand that will do the exact same thing. Which you become what you behold. A slave will strive for praise, approval, and acceptance of man. It's the need for approval. Where a son totally accepted in God's love and justified by grace. See, that's righteousness. I know that I cannot do anything to please him in a greater way. I can't do anything to make him love me more. I can't do anything to be in a better place with him. I can want to get to know him better, and I can press into who he is and love on him and walk with him. But I can't do anything to make him love me more. I can't do anything to impress God. Because before I've even done it, he knew exactly what I was going to do. You must understand, in the same breath, your steps are not ordained. Do you understand that? According to your will, you can change your day.
That's right.
So he does not say, well, this is what you were supposed to do today. You didn't do it, so you failed today. Yes, there's a mandate for every day, but if you do not go in and take the mandate, that mandate is given to someone else. Exciting, right? The slave has this need for personal achievement as you seek to impress God and others, or no motivation to serve at all. The son's service is motivated by a deep gratitude for being unconditionally loved and accepted by God. It's just knowing that I am in a place with an almighty creator that wants to just pour into me. You know, I remember all these times in my life where I would say, God, it feels like you don't love me. And because I was living beyond, I was living on this side of the veil. Everything had to happen by faith. I had to read the scripture to feel the comfort. I had to engage with the Holy Spirit. I had to search for prophecy. I had to make sure that somebody is going to come and bring affirmation to the fact that the Father loves me, that I can trust him, that I can believe that he's going to come through for me. But once I stepped into the veil and I started living beyond the veil, and I literally got to see his personality, got to see how much he loves me, how much he cares for me, how much things are just aligned. And as I grow in my sonship and in the covenant that he has for me, everything falls into place. I don't have to believe that he's going to come through. I know that he's going to come through. I know that he's there to love me and to increase me. It's an understanding of his love, and it shifts you into a deeper place with him. The slave says it's duty and earning God's favor, or no motivation at all. It's for the son, it's pleasure and delight. That's why the Father longs for us to walk in Eden. He longs for us to be in that place of absolute rest, where there's no strife. It's just the pleasure of his presence and his glory that overshadows everything. It's a deep place, and I absolutely love being there. The slave has this mentality: must be holy to have God's favor. Trust, thus increasing a sense of shame and guilt. I don't understand. If we believe that God will not accept me because I have sin, then you will never be accepted by God.
That's right.
Now, am I saying that you will always have sin? Absolutely not. But in the revelation of what sin is, your perception starts changing.
That's right.
Because we have made sin to be things that it's not. Because sin is not what you do. Now, there's certain things that we do that sin, we know that. But sin is not what I do, sin is what I am. And I am no longer that, because that man died.
Right.
So I'm resurrected in Christ, so there's a whole different dimension of life that I'm walking in.
Yes.
Sin is no longer part of that life. How you guys doing? So it's about pleasure and delight. That's about desire. You know, he places a desire in your heart when you start walking with him in the heavens. And I have increased a passion for him over the last 7 years, a passion that I've never had. Now, I've always had a passion for Yahweh and a love for his word and a love for who he is, but being able to see him and touch him and feel him as a son in his kingdom, walking with him becoming real to me, it opens up everything. There's no doubt whatsoever that he is an awesome, majestic God that only wants to increase and bless. There's no doubt that I'm more than what they ever said I am.
Come on.
Because as a son, you begin to understand your value to the Father.
Woo.
A slave has no value. A slave doesn't feel that he's valued. And he needs affirmation all the time. Does that sound like the church? And I know that sounds terrible, but that's where we act. The church wants affirmation of everything.
Yes.
You know, I need confirmation. No, you don't need confirmation.
Yes, you're like, oh, you must have 3 confirmations.
Yes, I mean, if I tell my son to clean his room, and his mentality is, well, I need confirmation. I'm going to give him confirmation.
No, please.
I'm going to give him 3 smacks.
Yes. Or you must, pre-confirmations, you must go to somebody else to get a
Yeah,
word to tell
that's
you.
it. But if I speak to my Father and He tells me what to do, even if I don't go speak to my Father, His desires are in my heart.
Right.
As a matter of fact, when I'm in the kingdom of heaven, you'll quickly understand that He doesn't have to talk to me. Matter of fact, there's no talking.
Come on.
You know, what we have on the earth is just counterfeit.
Yeah.
We even having to talk to each other like this is counterfeit.
Right.
It's due to the fall. We having to travel in our cars, having to travel on planes. The fact that we have to get dressed and make ourselves look pretty, that we have to look after our bodies. There's so many different focus points that we have to attend to because of sin in our lives. Not sin in our lives, but the fact that there's sin around us.
Yes.
In the kingdom of heaven, it's not like that. I don't have to say anything, and whatever I think is verbally exposed.
Yes.
When the Father speaks to me, it's directly in my spirit. It's an infused knowledge.
Yeah.
It's an immediate understanding.
Yeah.
He doesn't scream, "Hey, Gabriel, yo, I asked you to do that thing a half an hour ago. You still haven't done it, bro. You better get going." It's nothing like that. As a matter of fact, there's a frequency. This is just maybe what I've heard, but it's an intense frequency, like a humming. It sounds like a humming. I remember I was standing in the gym, and I just finished doing pull-ups, and as I landed on the ground, the 2 kingdoms that I was engaging merged. So the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of earth merged, and I saw the angelic and the people that was at the gym, and it was just the whole entire heavens merging with earth. At that point that I was in, and what I heard was like a excessive talking, but not quite. It was a vibration of a frequency released into the 2 different atmospheres. And I begin to understand, and I want you guys to understand, the Father's desire for us is to begin to legislate these type of things into the earth. You look at Justin Abraham, Ian Clayton, Ron Mahoney, all these men, I would say, that's the leaders in this movement. They are doing things in the earth that's incredible. We can't even fathom most of the stuff that they're not doing, but they have seen or heard other people do. Men and women just appearing and disappearing from one nation to another. Translation in your night watch, going into different dimensions of the world, realms, doing things, aligning things that we can never explain to the natural, because the natural just can't perceive it. He said that we will do great things, and I believe that as sons and daughters we are busy doing great things. And it's not things that everyone can see and say, "Okay, so you did this, I see the fruit of it." It's things that is really seen. It's the ministry Yeshua had that was never revealed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I always say that he had a ministry that was seen, it was written down, it was put in the Gospels, and we understand that's what we read when we read the Bible.
Yes.
But that was only 5% of what he did in the earth.
Right.
The 95% that wasn't seen, that wasn't written, is what we can engage now as spirit beings, because we can go into that timeline.
Yes.
And I really believe that happens in the revelation of sonship.
Come on.
Is that why some meditation practices do the humming thing? Are they trying to recreate?
That's a frequency. That's why. I believe that's the what would you say, the counterfeit of tongues.
That's what I'm saying.
Because tongues is not a language.
Right.
It's not me speaking something, something, and now let me interpret that. Is that what I said? No, it's a frequency that comes from my spirit. If I keep my hand on my throat, I can feel that vibration. And it comes from my spirit, not from my soul, not from my body. So it's aligned with heaven, because it comes out of the Father. So it's that alignment from heaven to my spirit that brings an alignment of that frequency that opens up the heavens.
Yes.
And that's what meditation really is. It's closing your eyes and engaging in the heavens, bringing that frequency up as high as you possibly can. That's one of the reasons why we're taking some of these oils, which is incredible, because it keeps your frequency high. And they say that if your frequency reaches a certain level, you're open to cancer and sickness and disease.
That's right.
You want to keep your frequency. That's why we engage with God. That's why we constantly in the kingdom of heaven, because you want to keep your frequency as high as possible. That's why you eat the right food, and that's why you do some kind of exercise, because you want to keep your body and your being at a higher level.
Yes.
Because as soon as it reaches a certain place, then Satan has access. That's his logic, right?
Yes.
We're looking at the slave's self-image. and the son's self-image. The slave is self-rejected from comparing himself to others. The son is positive and affirmed because you know you have such value to the Father.
Come on.
You know, he created you in his image. You know, I look at this God and I look at myself in the kingdom of heaven, and it's all about me. Now I say it about me, but I mean that's his point of view. It's all about us. He's got all these created beings out in the heavens. He's got things there that we have never even thought of or cannot even fathom. Yet his focus is just on us. Even the angels that spend time around his throne all the time say, what is it with this creation that you are so mindful of it? They just don't get it. Look at them, they're a bunch of fools. They reject everything you send. I remember going into a room, and this room was full of books and revelation and knowledge and secrets and mysteries. And I said, Lord, why is this room so full? And he said, I've sent this room and all of what's in it down to my leaders and to the people that is in charge of the move that I've sent into place. And they reject it and they send it back. Now let me tell you, I've gone back into that room a couple of years ago, about a year and a half ago, and that room's empty. So all of that was rejected 2 years ago is now being sent into the earth, and people are saying, yes, that's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So we almost have a whole different generation of the ecclesia that's running the things the Father's doing. And I look at the first time I entered into the kingdom of heaven 7 years ago to going into the kingdom of heaven now, there's thousands more people. There's a whole company of people that's constantly gathering in the heavens, constantly doing all kinds of things with the Father. It's incredible. The slave will always seek comfort in counterfeit affections, addictions, compulsions, escapism, busyness, hyper-religious activity. But the son seeks times of quietness and solitude to rest in the Father's presence and love. You know, I remember being in church. Now, I have no problem with church, but it was all about what it looks like when you worship, and what it looks like when why is this lady next to me crying, and she looks so good, she her hands in her hair, and she's loving Yahweh. I mean, I've been in church, and I love this type of stuff, it's incredible, but when you begin to walk in the Spirit, and the Father shows you what she's actually really doing, and there's no actual worship going on, it is repenting of continuous sin. I'm not saying that's everybody. It's just we need to begin to understand the Father does not look for this stuff. He doesn't need your affirmation. You don't need to worry about this stuff, because you're going to find yourself seeking other things if you can't get into your quiet place. And I always say this, you are the Christian according to what you do when you're alone in your room. Not what you do when you're in a corporate room where everyone's worshiping God. That's easy. Who are you when you're alone in your room? Not with your wife and your kids. When you're alone in your room.
Yes.
That's how you determine where you're at in the Christian walk.
It's really good.
Because the Father wants you to get to that quiet place where there's nobody around you, no one to see what you're really doing, and that's where you start engaging. That's what a son wants. A son doesn't care about what others think. You know, I remember when I was in the world, I used to love going to nightclubs, but I hated being on the dance floor. Because it's just not something I can do very well. And you can imagine, I was this huge guy, right? And all these moves that these guys do, and I was like, no, I was going to stand by the door. It's not working for me. And then I thought I'd become a Christian, and everyone's jumping and clapping, and the higher you jump, and the more you clap, the more holy you are. And I was constantly under condemnation. I just couldn't do this stuff, you know. But when I began to realize that all I need to do is go separate myself, step into the kingdom of heaven, and engage with Him, everything changes. Nothing can be seen, nothing can be heard, but I am in my Father's heartbeat. I'm getting to walk with Him, I'm getting to talk to Him. He's revealing secrets and mysteries to me. He's infused in my spirit. My spirit is downloading this revelation and knowledge into my soul, into my will, mind, and emotion, and I'm beginning to understand things I never understood before. My relationship with Him is changing. The reality of who He is in my life is opening up because I'm becoming a son.
That's right.
It's opening up dimensions to me, and I'm beginning to know that this awesome God I serve loves me no matter what.
Yes.
The slave is always in competition. And the jealousy towards others. Success and position is what it's all about. But the son is operates in humility, unity, as you value others and are able to rejoice in their blessings and their success. It's not something we're very good at. But I make a point, even to those people in the world, because people don't expect you to do that. When someone's doing really well, it is almost my responsibility to go congratulate them, I mean, there's no jealousy. I know who I am, I know what I do, I know where the Father wants me, I know what needs to take place in my life. It's my responsibility as the position He's given me as a son, a legislator, to encourage and uplift those around me.
Yes.
Not to pull them down and bring them down. Oh yeah, well, you probably cheated, or you probably just got that promotion because you did this and this and this. It's not where we're supposed to be. He wants a people that loves because we know we're one with each other.
That's right.
That's one of the reasons why He says, love your neighbors and love yourself. Because once we begin to understand, if I don't love myself, I'm not going to love the neighbor. But I can't love myself if I don't love my God. And I can't love my God this side of the veil. This side of the veil, I'm just going to touch base with Him. And I'm going to have to believe all kinds of things, but I'm never really going to step into the form. When I enter into the veil, I begin to see Him for who He really is. I cannot reject Him. I can only but run after Him, and He begins to show me who I am in Him. So I begin to love myself. Once I begin to love myself, I understand, well, it's really, when I love others, it's loving myself.
Yes.
Because we are the body. And there's just a shift that takes place. There's a dimension that He wants to open for the ecclesia where we begin to understand who we are. But it's in that shift from slave to sons. How you guys doing? Okay, so the accusations and exposure there's accusations and exposure in order to make yourself look good by making others look bad. That's just the slave mentality. I'm not saying this is what everybody does, but that's kind of, I see it in gossip all the time. Oh, did you hear about on this and this, that I saw her in the nightclub getting drunk, and we need to pray for her. No, you lie, you fry, you're busy gossiping. Because you're in a way excited. I knew she was going to backslide. I knew she wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I just see this. And I felt it in my heart when I was a baby as well. Some of my friends that didn't make it, I thought to myself, yeah, I made it, they didn't. They're not in church anymore, they're in the world. Hallelujah. Because that's just the mentality of a slave. But when you become a son, all of that changes. Love covers as you seek and restore others in a spirit of love and gentleness. And this is what I love about this new way that the Father is bringing in. That as a spirit being that has dominion and authority over the earth, you can overshadow all that you want to change.
Come on.
I do this all the time. I overshadow my sons and my daughter. I overshadow my wife. I overshadow our house. I overshadow every one of my students daily. Matter of fact, I remember this one specific lady because she just started listening to us on Facebook or YouTube, and she was making notes, and she even posted it on Facebook, very excited. And the Father said to me, I need to overshadow her. And so as I began to overshadow her, I met her about 6 months ago for the first time. And she told me how I appeared to her in the Spirit several times, teaching her things.
Come on.
I don't know about that stuff. I said, Lord, well, can I just be aware of that next time that happens? That'll help. But then I won't look like...
Conscious.
What are you saying, girl? I will have a greater understanding of what I say to her. But, I listened to Ian.
Was it good?
It was good. At least it was good, I did appear to her as a black man.
Yes.
Which is kind of okay. I mean, yeah. A black man. I don't know. And it's funny because I've got a black angel. When I say black, it's more like brownish color. And I've got a very white angel that's with me all the time. Passion and focus. Which is interesting. I have a photo in my house of an angel. A big muscular dude, and he's black, shaved head. He looks just like me, except I'm a little more handsome. He looks just like me, and he's got these huge white wings. Yeah, I think you can buy it online. Oh yeah, hey?
I have seen the dark one, and I was curious. I thought.
I just think that that's why Paul said. That's why Paul and him said, I think it's his angel. Because your angel kind of looks like you and relates to you.
Yeah.
How you guys doing? I really think the Father wants us to begin to understand that there has to be growth and our mentality shift. That's why I no longer think with my brain, I start thinking with my heart.
Come on.
Because my heart thinks and meditates on the things that's above. That's why I begin to see who my Father is. Whereas my mind is consumed with the things that happen in the earth. And of course we begin to understand that whatever you hook your eye into, you're going to become.
Come on.
That I'm constantly focused on the things that's happening around me in this life, in this world, whether it's your workplace, whether it's your family. Now, not that there's anything wrong with that, but your main focus and the living space and meditation has to come out of the heavens.
Yeah.
Because if I'm constantly worried about my family, worried about my workplace, worried about finances, worried about all these things that's around me, it's going to consume me.
That's right.
And that's exactly what we as Christians have been doing over the last 500 years is focusing on all the issues and the problem. But when I shift my thinking from where I am to the kingdom of heaven, if you look at my life, you'll understand that I have enough issues and enough problems to stress and worry about. As a foreigner in a different country, it's a major issue, major issues. But the Father has literally placed me in His hands in the kingdom of heaven so that nothing that happens in my day can affect who I am in the Spirit.
Come on.
And so it's the overshadowing of His kingdom in everything you do and everywhere you go.
That's right.
It's understanding who you are as a spirit being. You see, as a slave, you see authority as a source of pain. Distrustful towards them and lack a hard attitude of submission.
Yes.
In the spirit, as a son, is respectful, honoring. You see them as ministers of God for good in your life. You know, I remember when I was in school, I was a nasty little boy, but I could not stand authority. If you just look at me with an attitude, wanting to tell me what to do, that's it. Even my rugby coach, and I remember I told him very clearly, listen, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm not going to be running. If you're going to be wanting me to run, I'm going to quit right there. So I remember him saying, but you have to run, and I need you to run. I took my jersey off and I threw it at him, and I said, I'm done. I quit, this is not going to happen. I said I'm not going to run, and if you want me to play rugby, I'm not running. And I remember the headmaster calling me to the office, and he's like, Gustav, we really need you on this team. I was the biggest guy in my school, one of the biggest. There was two, another guy named Chris. And when I was in my last year, he was much bigger than me. And we were the two biggest guys. So he wanted he'd be prop. And we'd both be props, he'd be number 1 and number 3. But they wanted me to play that, and I want to run because I thought, I'm going to run and lose weight.
Right.
But that was my issue. I always had a problem with authority. And because I was always a big guy, I was just mean. And I remember if I didn't want to do something, no one was going to make me do it. You know? And I remember when I started doing spinning, that attitude kind of came back with that aim to tell you what to do. And man, I did not like that. Okay, stand up. And then I don't want to stand. Everybody up, stand. Like, shut up, man. Who do you think you are? I don't want to stand. And I realized, okay, there's an attitude there that needs to submit. It's the old one and come back. It's really not that bad. But I really believe the Father wants to realign us so we begin to understand what it means to honor. And I understand that honor is really the gates within the kingdom of heaven that opens up so much. And that's why the Father really wants us to understand what it means to honor. And it's not just being respectful, but it is honoring and understanding that the Father places these men, these women in your life that is only really there to minister to you and to bless you. You know, look at my spiritual father, and he's never been one that overshadows me. He's never been one that tells me what to do. And I know that he didn't do that because he knows my attitude, my character. You know, I just don't like that, you know. But it's not because I'm in rebellion, it's just part of who I am as a leader. But he never done that. He's never done that because he's always been led by the Spirit. I look at some of my spiritual brothers that really is an authority over me because of their stature in the Christian faith. And how they also, in the same breath, would never overshadow me because they have this sonship attitude where it's honoring one another, submission to one another. And it's in that place where you realize, because you're in the Spirit and you're a son, that when someone is at higher authority than you in the Spirit, it's okay for them to mentor you, it's okay for them to teach you and to guide you into a high place.
Yes.
And there's only some that can do that. You know, I always say I don't take correction from everybody. I have men and women in my life that can correct me, and I will submit to them, and I would restate my theology to make sure that what I'm teaching is really of the heart of God. But up to this point, the ones that I trust and believe, my spiritual father and some of my spiritual mentors, no one has come to me and said, listen, what you're teaching is off the chain, it's not of God, we need to stop, we need to change this, we need to change that. So when somebody that I don't even know, that has no real authority in my life, comes and tells me all the stuff you're teaching is not, it's extra biblical and this is not of God, then I just say, shut it up, and leave before I kick your assy. So I don't know how biblical that is, but it's just how I roll. See, we begin to understand that slaves own nothing.
That's right.
Slaves live in survival mode. They have no hope. They have no expectation. They have a poverty mentality. But a son is the exact opposite. He's got everything to live for. He doesn't need to survive because he knows who he is. As a matter of fact, he's an eternal being full of the glory of Yahweh. And he carries that glory and brings it into all the places he goes into. He understands that he's full of hope. As a matter of fact, he's got destiny and purpose to such an extent that it's an eternal destiny and purpose. And the Father has called him to be co-heir in the heavens with him, to operate in the kingdom of heaven, in the kingdom of earth, in the kingdom of God. He has given us the ability to literally run creation. It is a greater responsibility than what we can ever thought or begin to understand. The Father wants us to begin to grow in our revelation regarding who we are. That as sons and as daughters, we have the ability to step up to a higher place on a daily basis. So we don't no longer eat of the tree of good and evil, where everything is right, it's either right or it's wrong, because that's not my focus. Do I believe that there's things that's wrong and not of God? Of course, that's just logic. There's certain things we understand we don't want to do. Is it wrong in the eyes of God for you to smoke or drink? I don't think so. It's the logic that tells you not to drink and not to smoke, not to indulge, not to go overboard. Because God's focus is not you having a beer or you having a glass of wine or you smoking a cigarette. The logic is if you understand how your body functions, that's not a good idea. When anything alters your thinking, you want to step away from it. Whenever anything is busy burning up your lungs or messing up your body, you want to step away from it. So it's the same as eating McDonald's, the same as going out to a restaurant, knowing what you're eating right now is killing your body. The Father, his focus is on you as a person, wanting to elevate you, taking you from where you are right now to where you're meant to be. That's what the blood restored me to. The blood did not just give me salvation, it brought restoration. And that restoration is to take me from slavery to sonship and have me understand who I am. That's exciting, right?
Yes.
Let's stand. Father, we just want to thank you and praise you. And as we get to this understanding of who we are, when we begin to align our lives with sons, with the mentality of sons and daughters, when we begin to lay aside the way of the slave, the one that looks at you as a master, that wants to only but obey your every command, we're beginning to understand that it is your desire for us to be obedient, just like any father wants for his son and his daughters. But you want us to do what we need to do, the things that we have to do, the things that's according to what we agreed to on our scrolls, out of our free will. And we desire to do it because we love you and we understand who you are and we understand who we are in you, and that there's relationship and intimacy, that you're not this massive big God that's going to crush us, but that you're this beautiful, loving, kind Father that wants to pour into us and excel us and propel us, because we need to become legislators. We need to be oracles. We need to understand what it means to be a high priest. We need to know that we are kings. We need to operate in the fullness of sonship. And all of these steps in the Melchizedek order is to bring us to full maturity. And in this process, we need to understand that in the kingdom of heaven, we have to walk with the seven spirits, because your desire for us is to engage with them so they can teach us about our position. Because it's not just about me becoming a son, it's about me growing in your kingdom to become what you've destined me to be. So Father, I pray that you open up our hearts, realign and shift your people to a higher place, a more intense, deeper place of relationship and intimacy, so we can set aside our old way of thinking, set aside the old way of doing things, step into the new, and open up the gates to every dimension that you've made available to us. Father, we love you, We praise you and we thank you for who you are in us. In the name of Yeshua. Amen.